Hello gamers, welcome to the Arcadion M1 Savage, where the raid faces off against Black Cat. Please help me out with the algorithm stuff by liking, commenting, and subscribing, and let's get into the raid. For this encounter we'll use standard clock positions and waymarks as well as color pairs. The encounter begins with Quadruple Crossing. This cast targets the 4 nearest players with Conal AoEs that inflict slashing resistance down, before targeting the 4 nearest players with Conal AoEs again, and then recasts both sets of AoEs in the order and position they were originally baited. These can be baited in clock positions, but to make dodging simpler, especially on a later variant, we chose to first have the DPS bait in their clock positions, followed by the supports baiting on their DPS partners' clock positions, and then everyone waits out the remaining 2 hits on the Cardinals. Biscuit Maker will target the main tank with a single target tank buster that strikes twice back to back, inflicting slashing resistance down on the first hit. This can be resolved with a tank swap or an Invuln. 9 lives is Black Cat's core mechanic, allowing her to store her next cast to imbue into clones of herself that repeat her mechanics. 1-2 Paws will cleave Black Cat's left and right in the order her claws telegraph. Soulshade will then place 2 clones that will repeat Black Cat's left-right swipe. If right was saved first on 1-2 Paws, then the slice of the arena on the right side of both clones' target rings will be the starting safe spot, followed by the opposite slice, which is on the left side of both clones. Black Cat will again cast 9 lives, preparing to store another mechanic, and immediately after this cast, the clones will begin resolving. Double Swipe indicates that players need to organize into light parties, while Quadruple Swipe indicates they must arrange into pairs of 1 support and 1 DPS. Black Cat will once again cast Soulshade, placing a clone to repeat the light parties or pairs during the next mechanic. Leaping Quadruple Crossing will have the boss jump to the beacon she telegraphs before executing Quadruple Crossing, which we execute the exact same as we did previously. At the end of the Quadruple Crossing, the clone will resolve whichever of light parties or pairs was stored earlier. Bloody Scratch deals heavy physical raid-wide damage. The boss will recenter and cast her first Mouser, telegraphing a series of 10 AoEs that target various tiles on the arena, destroying any that are struck twice. There are only 2 patterns. The entire raid stacks in the central southwestern tile. We will always dodge to the southeastern tile after it's struck once. The only question is whether we remain southeast or return to southwest after it's struck, determined by which tile gets a second telegraph during the Mouser cast. At the end of the attacks, Medum will restore 4 of the arena tiles, leaving us with a horizontal or vertical 2x4 arena, with 4 damage tiles and 4 pristine tiles. Copycat will summon a clone of Black Cat that begins targeting players with Elevate and Eviscerate. This has 2 variations in Savage, one in which the clone crouches and raises its glowing right fist, indicating it will teleport behind the player and knock them up and back 1 tile in the direction they are facing, and a second variant in which the clone leans back and raises its glowing left fist, indicating it will slam down on the player. Both will stun the target player, and a knockback cross AoE will strike all tiles relative to the tile the player was struck on. Finally, the tile the player lands on or is smashed on will take damage, breaking if it was already damaged. We resolve this quite simply: melee close, ranged far, Light Party 1 north and west, Light Party 2 south and east. To remove any consideration of knock-up or slam, players can stand in the corner of their tile and face diagonally across, allowing them to knock up and land in the same tile. This also makes it very easy for the party to know where to stand to avoid the cross AoE, which will make life much easier later in the fight. Either all supports or all DPS will be targeted with a total of 2 knockups and 2 slams, after which Black Cat will cast another Biscuit Maker tank buster. This is followed by Shockwave, a radial knockback that is immediately followed by Grimalkin Gale spread AoEs. During the Shockwave cast, players will want to examine the outer corners of the arena, as 2 opposite corners will finish repairing before the knockback resolves, with the other 2 only finishing after, indicated by their restoration animations. We had Light Party 1 knock north and 2 knock south to make spreading easier, but there is a lot of time to adjust, so this is just an extra precaution. Black Cat will cast another 9 lives, followed by Leaping Quadruple Crossing or Leaping 1-2 Paws, storing both the leap and the subsequent mechanic she executes for her next Soulshade. This is followed by another 9 lives, the remaining mechanic of Leaping Quadruple or Leaping 1-2, and another Soulshade. One of the 2 clones will tether to Black Cat and begin awakening. indicating that it will resolve its stored mechanic first. During the 1-2 Paw clone, Black Cat casts Tempestuous Tear, targeting both healers with line stack AoEs. We stack Light Party 1 north and 2 south, dodging into the first cleave after it resolves. During the Quadruple Crossing clone, Black Cat targets either all DPS or all supports with Nailchipper circle AoEs. These resolve with the first baited cleaves and hit quite hard, and baiting a cleave while Nailchipper resolves will likely deal lethal damage, so the roll without Nailchipper baits the first set. The remaining roll will be targeted with a second set of Nailchippers that resolves during the fourth cleaves. Black Cat will cast another Bloody Scratch followed by Mouser before Copycat again summons a clone to target the roll that wasn't targeted earlier in the encounter with Elevate and Eviscerate, which we resolve the same as before. While players resolve their knockups and slams, Black Cat will cast either Overshadow, a shared line stack AoE, or Splintering Nails, a roll cleave targeting 1 DPS, 1 tank, and 1 healer, and each variant will be cast twice throughout the mechanic. Overshadow is fairly simple. The raid just needs to stack on a safe tile and mitigate. Splintering Nails can be more hectic, but we resolve it with a few simple rules. The healers always stack on the east-west DB line, mimicking their clock positions. The tanks always stack on the north-south AC line, once again echoing their clock positions. Finally, the DPS position in the center of a tile. As long as players position on a safe tile in this manner, the mechanic will resolve safely every time. Additionally, there is no need for players to occupy the same tile, so long as they follow these rules. After another Biscuit Maker and Shockwave sequence, we re-center Black Cat and prepare for her final real mechanic, Raining Cats. Raining Cats will spawn 2 tethers that cleave players with a Conal AoE that inflicts slashing resistance down, while also targeting the nearest and farthest player with the shared stack AoE that inflicts magic resistance down. A popular strat for resolving this involves exploiting tank invulnerabilities, but I'll first walk through how we handled it without. We stacked all range outside the east center tiles to soak the far baits, and all melees west on the target ring to soak the near baits. We had 1 melee and 1 range take each set of tethers at north and south at max melee, with Light Party 1 supports taking the first tethers, and Light Party 2 DPS taking the final tethers. The strat I've seen some PFs using is similar. Light Party 1 stacks on the bottom left positional in the target ring, and Light Party 2 stacks on the bottom right positional at max melee. Both melee DPS take the first tethers northwest and northeast, and after the first hit the tanks pick up the tethers while melees join their stacks. After the second hits, everyone remains in position and tanks pop their invulns to cheese the third and fourth tethers. The tanks can go a step further after invulning and position to soak the last 2 sets of baited stacks, but with clean play most groups will likely be skipping this mechanic entirely, if they aren't already. Black Cat will cast her final Copycat, and a clone will appear north to telegraph a series of line and circle AoEs with Predaceous Pounce, exactly as in the normal raid. While Predaceous Pounce resolves, Black Cat will cast a 1-2 Paw, after which she will enrage with a cast of Mouser that will destroy the entire arena. Thank you for checking out my guide for Black Cat Savage. I hope that you found something useful within it, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.